Okay, hello Internet. I am doing my first Facebook Live. This is actually the first time I've ever done like live content online. So it's a little nerving, a little awkward for me, but I am excited to try this out. I'm still kind of getting myself set up here because I want to view my live on the computer just in case. Okay, perfect. And I am posting on Facebook Live because I want to reach out to the audience of people that I have known personally for the past few years. I've been on Facebook since Facebook required a university email address in order to subscribe to, and it took a while before I even years before I ever heard of Facebook before that ever came out, and so I've had it for almost 20 years maybe, and so I have a lot of people from school, I have a lot of people from different jobs I've done and just different things, different travels. It's kind of been a big dumping ground for anybody that I've met in person, and now I'm on here as a way of kind of taking a break kind of from making long form content and focusing on trying to work on my presence without actually talking to somebody in person. Some of the things that have been going on I really wanted to highlight because it's really important where I'm going forward in my life, and I kind of wanted to give some context and background of what's going on. I'm recording this, I'm going to post it later, I'm going to put it on YouTube later, and it's probably going to take a little bit because I'm going to expand quite a bit of things that I got going on, so bear tight with the fact that I'm going to be talking a little bit. Maybe to just give some context, I had been working in tech most of my career. I've been probably about 15 years working in tech, various jobs from Kansas City, San Francisco. I've most recently worked for startups, and I've done some independent work on the side here and there. And while it's always been kind of, I got into tech at a young age because I was really good at it. It was something that everybody told me I should do because I'm good at it. But over time, I've realized that it's it's very demanding, and it requires so much effort that it has really caused a lot of burnout. And I feel that tech burnout is a topic in its own that I can get into more maybe in something else, in some other capacity. But for the most part, the point is I really felt like over the past few years that my work hasn't been as fulfilling as I really wanted to. It hasn't been it's such a robust industry that there's so many things you can do. And when you're trying to really find your niche within that kind of space, it can be really frustrating to kind of find a place where you belong and what really clicks. So this past job that I had was me kind of working in a role that was a little bit beyond my skill level. And I was ready for the challenge. I communicated very efficiently of where I felt I was and where I felt what I could do. And everybody understood it, and it was very much communicated well. And as I got into the job, sure enough, it was a little bit more challenging than I wanted. And I kept thinking and had the expectation that there would be other people coming in. This was a startup. We had barely 5-6 people. And the responsibilities I had were exclusively to me. So in that process, I would spend countless hours trying to skill up, trying to really improve my capabilities, and trying to deliver value as constantly as I could. And while some of that, I really did enjoy that work, the problem that I ran into is that there were some budget issues with this company, and they ended up delaying payments on a consistent basis. And after enough time and enough money that was owed, I knew that if I kept working, there was a chance I was going to leave more and more money on the table and maybe never see it if things got worse. So at some point in July, I bit the bullet and I decided to walk away from that opportunity because I really realized I valued my time more than my opportunity. And when it comes to the amount of hours I was putting in and the fact that I wasn't even able to get all my compensation provided to me, I realized that if I'm going to spend all this time working on something, I might as well, and not be paid for it, I might as well work on my own project or start my own business, something I've always wanted to do. But I never really had any clear idea of really what I wanted to do for a business. And especially as a little bit of context is I don't like the term, but I'm what you would call a digital nomad. I don't live in the US. I travel a lot. I'm usually hopping around from place to place for several weeks at a time. And there's a limited number of, post-COVID, there's not as many tech jobs and everything that really want to fill roles for remote workers, especially people that are living abroad. And so there's been kind of this quarrel between, do I go back into tech or do I find something else? So I went on a meditation retreat for over a week at the beginning of August, right before my 40th birthday. And I meditated a lot and I refrained from all kinds of vices. I didn't even bring my phone. I detoxed from the internet and technology at large. And it was a great experience. Not my first meditation or my first experience in that kind of capacity. So it wasn't necessarily a culture, like an intense cultural experience, because I was familiar with a lot of going through a process like that. So I really got a lot of value out of it. It was still challenging. It still pushed me. But one of the big things at the end of that was I really wanted to ensure that I was focusing on what the next thing was going to be. And once I got back, I didn't really still have an idea. But I did get this, I guess you would call it a solicitation, from a spiritual YouTuber that I'd been following for his whole career since like 2017. And he had been having a lot of success over the past years creating a business online through his YouTube channel. And he was offering a program for what they called Conscious Coaching Accelerator. And this platform was to help you, teach you how to become a spiritual coach and try to create a business around providing people coaching services. So I thought of the image, I've had the image on my radar of a life coaching. I thought that that would be something that would really fit my skill set. I feel like I've been doing coaching for friends and family most of my life and didn't even realize I was doing it. So when this opportunity kind of came in front of me, it seemed like the perfect time. It was a free kind of intro thing. I know there was going to be some sales attached to it. There was going to be an offer at some point, but they were offering like 12-day program back to back for 2 weeks, and I have nothing but time. And at the time, even though this company had owed me money, they were kind of still paying me. So it was nice because I had my time back. I had a little bit of funding. You can really stretch US dollars in South America pretty far. So as far as my responsibilities in life, things looked pretty good, even though inside I was still terrified of what I'm going to do for income at some point, right? Savings will dry up at some point, and I just still don't know what I want to do. So I took this course, and they did a very good job of getting you rah-rahed up and getting me excited about doing it. But I still wasn't sold on the idea of creating a YouTube. I still wasn't sold on the idea of talking to people about spirituality. And when it comes to coaching, there is a very vast landscape of what coaching is. And I didn't really have that context because it can tail into a lot of different things. So I take this 12-week course. I end up really enjoying the content. I end up creating a YouTube. I end up creating a video on YouTube, and then I proceed to create a video every 2 days for about 20 videos. I'll put a link to my YouTube here in a second. and the live. But I was creating the videos, and the issue, at the beginning it was pretty easy because I was just creating content that I didn't really have to think about it too much. I just got on and I started talking. And nothing had to be perfect because it was, pretty cringy at your first effort to like create content like that. It's tricky talking to a camera, getting used to it. It seems easy, but it can be hard to really kind of just collect all the things you really want to say. So in order to kind of get all my things together, I just started recording. And I think that was the easiest process because I didn't really have to overthink what I wanted to do. Over time, I kind of had to build a little bit more of a strategy and what I was going to do. I wanted to make my information engaging. I wanted people to be, I wanted to really like solve a problem. And we'll do my YouTube and see if that comment works. I really wanted to do it right, and you have to learn a lot of the lessons over the span of it. So I kept practicing and everything, and I still have a long ways to go. I made it as far as about 20 videos because posting every other day, what it really is I post, I finally get a video done, and I post it, and I relax, and the video's done. But then, after a couple hours of resting, you got to get another video out in 36 hours. And while I feel like that helped kind of get the momentum on my channel, it burnt me out a little bit too, where I started really resenting creating videos. And the ultimate reason why I'm actually creating a YouTube and trying to create content on it is to create an audience. I'm trying to build a community around what I'm trying to talk about and what I want to talk about and what I really want to connect with people on. And to build that, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes effort, a lot of trial and failure. But once I started kind of building this, I realized I didn't have any context into how I even coach. Like even if I had somebody that come on that was interested in what I had to say and interested in me and interested in working with me, I didn't really have the skill set to necessarily even know how to begin coaching for somebody like that. And I took kind of, the videos took a back seat, largely because I think I was putting so much energy into my videos to make them perfect that it lost a lot of the fun. So what I've done over the past few weeks, so December was tricky, right? We had New Year's recently. Happy New Year to everybody. We had Christmas, and then before that, I went on a trip with my girlfriend to meet my parents in Mexico. And it was a really good time with everybody there at the beginning of December. We were there for a couple of weeks. And then throughout November, I started falling behind on videos, and it just kept going. I just kept not producing videos. And but what I was working on is I was focusing on how do I improve my capabilities to be a coach. If this is really a calling, like what kind of coaching do I want to do? How should I even refer to myself as a coach? Like what kind of niche am I in? And I don't necessarily have all these answers right now, but lately what I really fell into after all of November and some December kind of thinking this through is I really needed to engage in actually coaching people. So I took on some students. So in the program I'm in, there's other coaches that are also learning how to coach. And I found other students that want to do a coach share. So I'll coach them for an hour, they'll coach me for an hour. And I was really weary about that in the beginning. But actually once I got into it, I found I really like it. Not only do I like it, but it feels very fulfilling. It feels very satisfying to be able to help somebody kind of guide them towards the things that they know that they're capable of and the things that they want in life. And I've gotten very positive feedback on where I'm at in making that happen. So I pumped a lot of hours into just trying to provide value to people and trying to provide them with me being present as much as I can and trying to connect them to their goals and what they want. And organically, I've started to create this program and this project. And what I've kind of identified that, I don't know if I'm crazy about it, but the thing that keeps kind of resonating for me right now is this title of a empowerment and transformation coach. So when I've gone through over the past several years is this kind of spiritual awakening, this kind of awareness that's been around for maybe most of my life, where I just feel like I haven't always had the right answers from resources throughout my life, like from either religion or from just other kinds of concepts and stuff. Like, I've never really been able to get the answers that I want or find. Sometimes even in a career and money, I haven't even necessarily found happiness. I've been very grateful for a lot of the opportunities I've had. I've been grateful for the wealth I've been able to accumulate and the things I've been able to do. By no means do I shun any of that or regret any of it. But at the same time, I know, like, I was living in San Francisco, which was a battle in itself getting out there. If you know that story, I have a video about how I got to San Francisco. But I remember in San Francisco, about the time I left, right when COVID happened, I was had a great apartment, and I was on the back, and I'm looking over the Bay Area. It's just a gorgeous view. And I just had that moment to myself where I'm like, man, this is so great. Like, if the past self could see me right now, he'd be so proud of me. But then there was the part of me that was just like, but this isn't it. You know, the view is great. I'm grateful to be here, but I'm still missing something. You know, I have more money than I've ever made in my life, but it's still not the thing that really satisfies me. There's something else here that I just don't have dialed in yet. And that's why I started traveling, and that's why I started going, doing the digital nomad life and trying to really explore, trying to find, maybe get just some kind of perspective of what other people are doing and what else there is out there that could help me understand this. I've done a lot of meditation retreats. I've done ayahuasca. I've done peyote, sweat lodges, silent meditations, fasted silent meditations, so many things to try to kind of bring out these answers. And a large part of what I was going through in this was coming into this spiritual sense, this spiritual awakening of recognizing where where my real life begins, where my true higher self, my future self, if you may, what he really wants, what's really going to make him happy, and trying to really recalibrate and understand where my purpose is and where I want to be in the next few years. So that process has been very time consuming because I've mostly been doing it by myself. And a majority of my life, I felt very alone in this quest. I felt like I was the only person asking a lot of these questions. And to some frustration, I felt like a lot of my questions were a burden to people. And they weren't really things that a lot of people were thinking of, or they wanted to even think about, or they even wanted to entertain. And I felt pretty alone on this kind of journey. And I know that when I talk to people now, I'm 40 years old, and I'm meeting my peers now, and my age group, I'm meeting people who are struggling with things. And when I hear them talk about these things, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was 10 years old, 12 years old, having an existential crisis about death and just how death was and the impact of it. And religion wasn't able to satisfy it. A lot of things weren't able to satisfy my questions because, I just had so many deeply seated things that I needed to understand, because I felt like there was just so many blanket answers being given to me. And where I'm at today, I don't necessarily have answers. A lot of what I want to do isn't because I have answers. What I want to do is help people that are in a similar capacity, where whatever age you are, wherever you're at in life, You probably have had a good paying job. You've had a lot of things to be grateful for in your life. You're very happy. You have a family. You have people that love you. And yet, maybe you have a house, you have a car, multiple cars, a good paycheck, savings, investments. You have all these things in your life. You have all these things in your life that you thought you were supposed to have. And they make you happy and you appreciate them, but there's something missing. There's this deeper thing that just feels off. And those kind of things are, you're not going to get anybody to answer them for you. Nobody can tell you they have the answer. But what you can do is you can invest in having somebody guide you through a process that you want for yourself. When you have your own goals that you want to answer, or let's say you have your own goals, but you also have your own questions or your own just mysteries about, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Like, what should I do? Why are these relationships not working for me? Why do I hate myself? Why do I feel unlovable? Why do I struggle at night? Why do I stay up? Because I can't figure it out. What is it? There's something in the back of my mind that just won't let me go. When it comes to this kind of complication, you are probably closer to solving it than you think. Because the reason you struggle and the reason why the tension is so extreme is because you're on the verge of breaking through. You're on the verge of either satisfying a passion so either you've already burnt off a passion that you've really been interested in and all of a sudden it's not that interesting anymore because it wasn't your core passion. There's this moment of stillness, this moment of discomfort before the next passion comes through, before that next purpose comes to your presence, and you can engulf yourself fully into that purpose, into that wholeheartedly. And when you can do that, it's an amazing thing. But the problem is there's a transformation that has to happen. There's a process that you have to go through to empower yourself to get you to a point where you can transition into that. And that looks differently for a lot of people because nobody's the same. Everybody struggles with different things when it comes to making transformations, whether it's relationships, your health, your goals and your professional, your purpose, all of these things, or some of them. And in some places you may be like, I'm really set on my purpose, but you actually can figure out your purpose pretty quick. But if you don't have your relationships and kind of this emotional intelligence, self-awareness kind of dialed in, it's going to be hard to support all of those other things. So what is the solution to this? Well, one thing that's probably valuable is that you should probably be in therapy, talking to a trained therapist about these things and probably going back through your history and figuring out where those things connect in your past. You need to figure out if there was trauma or there were maybe extensive situations in the family, all these other things that you need to kind of dial in. Super valuable. The other thing is that you also need to have a coach to help you with those things. Now, there's so many things you could get a coach for, and I recommend doing as many of them as you can because you're going to get a lot of dedicated attention in that process. A coach isn't here to really tell you what to do. We're not here because we're up on some mountaintop and we have all this wisdom and everything we know is right. We're more or less there to guide you on what you want to do because your higher self, your true being knows what they want. It may take a little bit more exploration than where you're at right now, but you know what you want. And you have the capability to get there. But it helps to have somebody that is, one, holding you accountable, that's capable of listening to what you're trying to experience, that is compassionate to what those things are, and has just been kind of equipped with how to kind of guide you through that process. If you're able to be guided through that process, you're going to find results. You're going to be able to find yourself transformed into this different stage of your life. This thing that used to be a dream. But the great thing about dreams is that that higher self of you already exists, and they're available and waiting for you. And they want you to make that effort. They want you to do that work and change this trajectory that you're on. Because when things aren't dialed in, the reason they're not dialed in is because you're in alignment with either an old version of yourself, or you're in alignment with old thoughts and feelings that don't serve you anymore. And as you shed this, you'll find that you have to replace it with new habits, new behaviors, new ways of thinking. And anybody can do this on their own if they're really determined and they're really motivated. But it takes a lot of time. And it can be really stressful, especially if you don't have a good support group. And one of the things that I really want to be able to do is to be able to provide people with a voice that helps them move through this. I don't want anybody that kind of went through this. I think some people are fortunate enough to just be kids and just not have existential crisis when they can barely even understand what's going on, right? Maybe they don't really have that until they're in their later 20s, 30s, or whatever. Hell, even some people I know are in their 50s and they're just now kind of getting around to kind of being kind of shook by that revelation of the world, right? So I don't want those people to feel like they're alone. I don't want them to feel like they don't have anybody that gets it. And a lot of the content I want to create is, one, to promote my coaching, but also to provide value for people who just want to, be understood and have somebody that kind of relates to the things that they're going through. That's first off my main goal. And while I am creating that platform and I'm trying to bridge that avenue for people so that people can have a vehicle for doing this work more rapidly and having actually a flow of it, I want that to also lead into, right now I'm doing one-on-one coaching for this transformation process. I currently have a couple of beta students and a couple of students that I'm collabing with. We exchange coaching hours, and it's been an incredible revelation. I've never felt such satisfaction in the work that I'm doing. Like, I get off some of these calls with people and they're just, it's like they're in a new state. They're ready to kind of go through that next week before we talk again. And they're equipped with more things on how they can do it and how they can move the needle forward. Because we want to make a little bit of progress each time. Because getting to these goals it's a lot of work. It seems like it's going to be kind of easy. You just wake up one day and you're okay with it. But that work takes time, and it takes showing up, being consistent. And what's really interesting about me doing this work is that I'm having to hold myself to the same standard, because I want to be available for my audience, my clients, my friends, my family. I want to be completely available because I'm doing this work myself, and I want to heal, and I want to move to the next transformation. I want to connect better to the future version of myself that I know I can be and that I really do see. I don't want to be the person that feels so stressed out no matter how hard I work so burnt out on the work I do, even though I enjoy it to some extent, I really want to feel like the work I'm doing makes impact and affects people long term. And that's why I want to build a community. And I want to offer coaching services. And that will also scale into a few other things. Like I'd like to create so some of the student coaches and the beta coaches that I'm already working with, or the beta students I'm working with right now, are helping me kind of create this course. At some point in the future, I will also create kind of a course version that people can follow on their own. But I also want to offer one-on-one coaching up front because it's kind of the easiest way for me to get my foot in the door with creating a business. And I want to also, like, I think one of the things, like whenever I first started doing this, the reason why I was super motivated is I remember being younger and I wanted to be an inventor and I wanted to be, I wanted to build bridges. I think I wanted to be like an engineer or something like that. But one of the other things that I thought I wanted to do that I'd be good at is being a public speaker. Maybe that wasn't until I was a little bit older, but I really felt like it would be great to actually talk to people and motivate people and get people excited about whatever. You know, like there's so much in life to be thankful for and grateful for, and there's so many things to be excited about that I really want to help people see that and explore that and really want to get to that next level up of themselves, that next version of themselves. And be closer to that. So what's really exciting about this is it scales wildly into a lot of different things. And so where do I go from here? Well, one of the things that I need to do is I need to get back active on posting content on YouTube. I have several ideas that I'm working on. I've been spending the past few weeks trying to kind of create a more streamlined process of how I'm going to create content, publish content, edit content, and do all this work where I'm not just burning myself out trying to get things out every 2 days. You know, I feel that there needs to be more time allocated, and if I give myself a little bit of runway to get it done, I can still post consistently, but with an intent around creating long-form content that also has a little bit of nuggets of valuable information. And that information can be turned into shorts. It can also be, I want to do more of these lives after I get a little bit more practice with it. And I feel that there's countless opportunities here to just inhibit the divine kind of energy that I'm experiencing and project it without judgment, without being critical. And I know people are going to resonate with it. It has to. And if not, there is no not. It's going to happen. You know, if you're true and you want to be you, authentically you, you're going to find people that resonate. And that's how you're going to build. That's how you're going to build a community. So, what I'm trying to start here is, one, I have at the very least a YouTube channel. I added it to the live. I'm recording this, and I'm actually going to post this live on my YouTube channel. So I don't know that I'm going to have all these links, but I guess it won't matter. So I'm going to mention them, but I may post them, I guess, after I post it to YouTube. But joining my YouTube, subscribing to my YouTube, sharing my YouTube, at the very least, helps a lot. Watching my content, giving me comments and stuff is great. I'm not going to swear by my content right now. It's very rough around the edges. But the way I keep telling myself as I'm creating content is that these aren't really problems. This is video 100 problems. You know, just because my audio was off, or just because this was off, or the lighting was off, or whatever. All that shit, you know, will sort itself out if I keep showing up and I keep being present. So that's a huge help to me. Another thing is if if you want to even help me further, one of the things that I'm offering, so I'm trying to build an email list. If most of you that are watching this know me in person and know that I've enjoyed writing and I've been doing a lot of trying to kind of invest my time into that kind of craft. And I've been doing that for a few years as I've been traveling. So one of the avenues on top of creating videos that I like to do is just kind of short little things that I write. For that, I actually I have a newsletter that I'm trying to build. And so I'm trying to build an email list for a newsletter. And I'm going to put that in the comments right now. And one of the leads that I have for this is I created an ebook. It's just a PDF. And the PDF has 21 books over the past decade that have really positively affected me. And not only do I love some of these books, I've read some of these books like at least 6 or 7 times, right? Audiobooks. I sometimes I read books, but I really like listening to books. It just makes things a lot more multitaskable for me. So that PDF will give you a list of really good books. You can buy them wherever. And then if you really want to support me, they're all affiliate links. If you wanted to buy the books through Amazon, I get a little cutback from that. So that helps me out too. If you're interested in just doing a call with me about kind of what coaching could be, and also seeing if we're a good fit, if I can actually provide you with getting you closer to your goal, then let's schedule a discovery call. Let's take some time to actually talk for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and let's just see if what I can offer really resonates with you and is something that you really are excited about having in your life. I'm going to post my, let's see, it doesn't work. It wants me to link somebody, which I don't want to do. Okay, and so the coaching, I probably should label these, right? Oh, I think it's clear. Coaching with Blake, yeah. So basically the coaching is just a form you fill out. It gets you to kind of get in contact with me, and then we can schedule some time and do a discovery call. I'll get you access to my Calendly so you can book a time that works for you. And or if you know somebody personally that you think would benefit from having coaching, you can forward this off to them to get them in touch with me. And we can book a discovery call with them. And again, no pressure. We talk a little bit and see if it makes sense. And if it does, we move forward to the next thing. So that's there too. Now, the one thing that I'm making and I'm only doing this for a few times, just for like the first few weeks in January, I've already booked up all my beta students. I gave my beta students a 100% discount. So right now what I'm trying to do is with my next couple of clients, I'm going to give them a 90% discount. And so that's only going to be the next 2 or 3 people that I sign. It's just a motivation to get me more people and get me more hours in. The program that I'm doing right now has a certification at the end of it. And that certification requires me to do 40 hours of actual coaching. Right now, I am at 14 hours, so I'm a little bit over 25%, maybe the 30% mark, and it's going really good. When I get out of these calls, there's just such an energy and an alignment with what is desired to what I can do. One of the things I'm realizing about coaching is that it's not hard. If you've ever tried to give somebody, if you've ever had anybody that's come to you with a problem, you know pretty quick what the problem is, and you know pretty quick what the solution is. And if you give them advice, you're like, why doesn't everybody take my advice? It's so easy, and it's pretty easy to be on the other side of a problem and think that problem is a lot easier than they're making it out to be. We're all guilty of this. But what coaching is, it's not, a coach isn't somebody that's actually saying, well, this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do. This is the problem, and this is the problem. A good coach listens, and a good coach understands and helps the client which is this is about the client, this is about the person reaching out to the coach, but they help them guide them through what a goal, a realistic goal is, and what is really truly important to their life and their objectives. And then that coach asks questions and more questions. And if they're doing it really well, that person is asking even more questions. And at some point, they are constantly holding them accountable to where they need to go and offering suggestions and objectives on what they can do to get closer to that goal. And over time, what you will have, especially if everybody is showing up 100%, if your client's showing up 100%, your coach is showing up 100%, there is no way you go through that process without having a transformation, without feeling empowered, without feeling like you're ready to come a step closer to the next version of yourself, to actually kind of level up. If you're a video gamer, maybe that makes a lot of sense. But this leveling up kind of analogy to me, like in a lot of games, if you don't play them, you level up, like all this like glowing dust and everything, and you become a better version of what you were, and now all the battles and all the things you get to do are a lot easier because you leveled up. And leveling up is the analogy I kind of use for what this process feels like when you have these breakthroughs. And these breakthroughs are called breakthroughs because usually the way that you witness the process before the breakthrough is stagnation, is this kind of like uncertainty, this like, well, what am I doing? And like I said in the beginning, a lot of that means that you are really close to a breakthrough, that you're really close to actually going to the next tier of where you're at. But a lot of times it's not sexy, it's not fun, and it's really, really, really challenging. But it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be hard. And this isn't just me. Like, I know I'm shilling out my coaching and I'm trying to start marketing this kind of thing. But what has been fascinating and challenging about zoning in kind of what I want to do in this space is that the transformation empowerment route that I'm going in coaching is one of so many different niches that exist. And there's leadership coaches, there's authenticity coaches, there's language coaches, there's all kinds of people out there that have skill sets that can help you do whatever it is you want to do. And it's blown me away over the past several years that I've seen this kind of practice becoming more and more ubiquitous to serve the common good. And it's an industry that's booming right now. And I had so much resistance in the beginning of this, and it still comes up. But it's not as loud as it used to be. What comes up more now is I was supposed to do this. It's not even that I was supposed to do it. It's that I've been doing it. You know, this isn't, I'm not having to go out of my way to learn something because it's something I've already kind of been embedded with. I've had some sort of success with solving a lot of these questions I've had on my own and navigating it. And so I really relate to people that have the same struggle. So when it comes to like the whole process of kind of going through coaching, there's a healing stage, there's kind of a digging deep stage, and then there's a coming out of that deepness with this new purpose and this new sense and this rebuilding and this process of building you to, again, that next level or whatever. That happens on a macro scale, like you zoom out and we're talking about maybe like a 2-year, 3-year kind of thing, sure. But then it also happens on a micro scale all the time, even with just like relationships you have, just little things you learn about yourself. We do these things automatically, right? And sometimes we just figure it out on our own. And that cycle is the same one that you can apply on the large scale or the small scale. And there's an abundance of waking up to what the next thing is. And I really hope that I can provide that doorway for people. Maybe not everyone, but I really hope that I can provide that for as many people as possible. So again, I invite you to connect with me through whatever means you feel comfortable with. Even if you want to try to connect with me on Facebook, that's fine too. But I'm really excited to do this. I feel a lot more purpose and excitement around it, and this is me leaning into it. This is me taking the time to, kind of represent myself and display kind of where I want to be. So I guess I'm kind of running out of things to say. I appreciate everybody who jumped on to listen to me kind of go on my spiel here. And I wish you the best. I hope to do more of these and to have a little bit more specific kind of talks. But again, really hope we connect in some capacity, whether or not you want to be a client. But I'm really excited to have you guys within my community and know you all personally. So again, I appreciate it very much. Again, share with anybody who you feel would benefit from meeting me, and I really hope to connect with y'all again in the not too soon future. Take care.